I just found this coin, and I almost spent it. It looked completely normal, worn, dark, nothing special. But when I checked it closer, everything changed. This is the kind of discovery people dream about. Hidden fortune, sitting quietly in your everyday change. And the scary part? You could already have one and not even know it. Stay with me, because what comes next is even bigger. You might already have this coin, and the scary part is you wouldn't even realize it. It doesn't shine. It doesn't look special. In fact, it looks worn, dark, almost forgotten. But that exact ugly appearance is what traps people into spending it without thinking. And right now, somewhere out there, someone is handing this coin away like it's nothing, not knowing it holds serious money. The year 1943 wasn't normal. America was deep in World War II, and everything, metal, labor, focus, was under pressure. The US Mint wasn't just making coins, it was surviving a national emergency. That stress changed everything about how coins were made. Production lines were pushed hard, dies wore out faster, and quality control wasn't what it used to be. That's where this hidden opportunity was born. Now imagine this. San Francisco Mint 1943 machines running non-stop. Workers exhausted, materials stretched thin, and out of that chaos came the 1943 Washington quarter, a coin that wasn't meant to be perfect. It was meant to exist. And because of that, every surviving piece today carries that pressure inside it. Look at the front of the coin, the obverse. George Washington's face isn't just a design. It's a story frozen in time. The word liberty sits above, slightly worn in most examples, while "In God We Trust" rests beside the portrait. But here's what most people miss: the texture. That grey-black tone, mixed with rusty brown and green spots. That's not damage. That's history, living on the surface. Flip it over to the reverse, and now you see the eagle, wings spread wide, gripping arrows. Underneath, United States of America and $quarter. But don't just look, study it. That slight fading, those darker patches. Collectors don't see flaws. They see originality. And originality is everything in this game. This coin isn't made of cheap metal. It's 90% silver, 10% copper. It has weight, about 6.25 grams. Diameter, around 24.3 millimeters. Thickness, roughly 1.75 millimeters. But here's the thing. You don't feel value by measurements. You feel it when you realize how few of these actually survived without being melted, spent, or destroyed over decades. And then there's the mint mark, that tiny S on the reverse. Small, easy to miss. But this detail changes everything. Because San Francisco minted fewer coins compared to other locations, and survival rates today are even lower. Most people never even check for it. They just spend the coin and move on. Now let's talk about condition, because this is where people lose everything. Your coin might be in fine condition, with visible wear, darker toning, maybe even those green and brown patches. And your first instinct, clean it. Make it shiny. Make it look better. That is the biggest mistake you could ever make. Cleaning destroys value. Instantly. Permanently. That original toning, that grey-black surface, those uneven colors, that's proof the coin hasn't been tampered with. Collectors want that. They trust that. The moment you clean it, you erase its history, and its value drops hard. And here's what's happening behind the scenes. Collectors are not just buying these coins, they're chasing them. Quietly, aggressively. Auctions don't always look dramatic, but make no mistake, when a solid 1943 quarter shows up, the tension is real. Bidders wait, watch, and strike fast. Because supply is shrinking. Every year more coins are lost, damaged, or locked away in private collections. And the people who own the best ones? They're not selling. They're holding, waiting, because they know what's coming. Right now, a 1943s Washington quarter in fine condition like this can reach around $140,100 at auction. Let that sink in. A coin people ignore. A coin people spend without thinking. A coin that could quietly be sitting in your pocket right now. This is not fiction. This is exactly how hidden wealth works. It doesn't scream. It hides. It waits for the right person to notice. So here's what you need to do. Check every quarter you have. Look for 1943, then look for that tiny S. Don't rush. Don't clean. Don't assume it's worthless just because it looks worn. Most people miss this, and that's why most people stay broke. And one more thing, if you think this coin is shocking, what comes next is even bigger. Because the next Washington quarter we're about to reveal makes this one look common. And people are losing it every single day. You've seen this coin before, probably dozens of times. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Because nothing about the 1970 Washington quarter without a mint mark screams valuable. It blends in. It looks used, maybe even a little dirty with those green and gray-black patches. But right now, people are spending this coin without hesitation. Completely unaware, they're letting a silent fortune slip away. 1970 was not just another year, it was a turning point. America was coming out of a chaotic decade. Economic pressure was building, inflation was creeping in, and the coin system had already been shaken by the removal of silver just a few years earlier. The US Mint was adjusting to a new era, pushing out massive numbers of coins to keep up with demand. And in that rush, something very important happened. Details were overlooked, quality shifted, and certain coins became far more special than anyone expected. Now here's where it gets serious. This quarter has no mint mark. That means it came from Philadelphia, a facility known for high-volume production. But in 1970, the absence of a mint mark isn't just normal. It's a signal. It tells collectors this coin came from a time when the mint was under pressure to produce fast, not perfect. And that pressure left behind subtle traits that collectors are obsessed with today. Look closely at the obverse. George Washington's profile may appear soft from circulation, but that's not weakness, that's survival. The word liberty stretches across the top, sometimes faint, sometimes bold, depending on where. In God we trust sits beside the portrait, often blending into the surface if the coin has that gray-black tone. And those green patches, that's not damage, it's oxidation interacting with the copper core beneath the surface. Flip the coin, and the reverse tells its own story. The eagle, wings stretched wide, clutching arrows, still commands attention, even in very fine condition. Around it, United States of America and quarter dollar remain visible, though softened by time. But here's the detail most people miss, the texture. That uneven color, those darker zones, collectors see originality. And originality is what drives serious money. This coin is clad, not silver. It's made of a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel. Total weight, about 5.67 grams. Diameter, roughly 24.3 millimeters. Thickness, around 1.75 millimeters. It feels like any other quarter in your hand. And that's the trap, because nothing about its physical presence warns you that it could be worth thousands. But survival is the real story here. Coins from 1970 were used heavily. They circulated hard. They were scratched, dropped, stacked, and spent over and over again. Finding one today in very fine condition, with original surfaces, natural toning, and no cleaning, is far rarer than people think. Most have been damaged or altered beyond collector interest. And this is where people make the biggest mistake. They try to fix the coin. They see those green and gray-black spots and think it needs cleaning. That instinct destroys value instantly. The moment you clean it, you strip away the natural surface collectors crave. That original toning is proof the coin hasn't been tampered with. Lose that, and you lose the money. Now let's talk about obsession. Because collectors don't just want any 1970 quarter, they want this one. The no mint mark version with natural wear, authentic toning, and no interference. They study tiny details, edge definition, lettering sharpness, surface integrity. These are the things that separate an ordinary coin from a hidden treasure. Auction rooms don't always look dramatic, but don't be fooled. When a strong example of this coin appears, the energy shifts. Bidders don't joke. They don't hesitate. They wait, they watch, and then they move fast. Because they know how rare it is to find one that hasn't been cleaned, polished, or ruined over time. And here's the truth. Most people aren't ready for. These coins are disappearing. Not physically, but from the market. Collectors are holding them, locking them away, waiting for demand to rise even higher. And while that's happening, everyday people are still spending them like pocket change. Right now, a 1970 Washington quarter without a mint mark, in very fine condition, can reach around $120,300 at auction. Let that hit you. A coin you've probably ignored your entire life, quietly carrying serious money. So what should you do? Start checking immediately. Look at every quarter. Don't rush. Focus on the date, 1970th. Then confirm there's no mint mark. After that, study the surface. If you see natural toning, gray, black, even green, do not clean it. That's exactly what collectors want. And if you think you've found one, don't guess. Get it professionally graded. Because one small detail, one overlooked feature, could be the difference between nothing and a life-changing opportunity. This is not hype. This is how hidden wealth moves. Quiet, unnoticed, waiting for the right person to pay attention. But if you think this coin is rare, the next one is on another level completely. And what makes it valuable is something almost nobody checks. Most people would ignore this coin in less than a second. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. The 1940 Washington quarter without a mint mark doesn't flash, doesn't shine, and doesn't beg for attention. It hides behind that dull yellowish tone, mixed with gray-black shadows, looking old, maybe even worthless. But that exact look is the reason people keep spending it. Completely unaware, they're letting a hidden fortune disappear from their hands. Now step back into 1940 for a moment. The world was on the edge of chaos. War had already begun overseas, and even though the United States hadn't officially entered yet, the pressure was building fast. Industries were preparing. Resources were being watched closely. The U.S. Mint was producing coins during a time of uncertainty, and that tension left its mark on everything, including this quarter. Philadelphia, no mint mark. That detail alone might seem boring, but it's actually where the story begins. Because when a coin comes from Philadelphia in this era, especially under rising national pressure, it carries a different kind of significance. These coins weren't made for collectors. They were made for survival, fast production, heavy circulation, and no thought about preserving perfection. Look at the obverse. George Washington's portrait is calm, almost unaware of the storm that was coming globally. Liberty stretches across the top, sometimes softened in fine condition, while In God We Trust sits beside the profile. But here's what makes this coin stand out: the color. That yellowish tone blending into gray-black areas isn't random. It's the natural aging of silver interacting with the environment over decades. Flip it to the reverse, and the eagle stands there, wings open, holding arrows, strong but worn by time. United States of America curves above, $quarter below. The details may not be sharp, but that's not weakness. That's proof this coin lived a real life in circulation. And collectors, they don't just accept that, they want it. This coin is made of 90% silver and 10% copper. It weighs about 6.25 grams with a diameter of roughly 24.3 millimeters and a thickness near 1.75 millimeters. It feels solid, balanced, like any other old quarter. And that's the illusion, because nothing about its physical presence warns you that it could be worth serious money. Here's what most people don't realize. Coins from 1940 didn't survive easily. They were used heavily through the 1940s, 50s, and beyond. They passed through thousands of hands, faced wear, damage, and melting during silver booms. Finding one today in fine condition, with original surfaces intact, is far rarer than it should be. And then there's the surface itself. That yellowish tint mixed with darker gray-black tones, that's original toning. It's not dirt. It's not damage. It's history. And the moment someone tries to clean it, trying to make it shiny, they destroy that history instantly. The value drops. The collector interest fades. The opportunity disappears. So hear this clearly, do not clean this coin, no matter how tempting it feels. That natural surface is what makes it valuable. It tells collectors this coin hasn't been altered, hasn't been messed with, hasn't lost its authenticity. Now let's talk about obsession, because that's what drives this market. Collectors aren't casually buying these coins. They're hunting them. Specifically, they want coins like this: Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, original toning, honest wear, and no cleaning. They study the smallest details: letter sharpness, edge integrity, the way light reflects off the surface. Auction rooms may look calm on the outside, but inside, it's intense. When a strong 1940 quarter shows up, especially one that checks all the right boxes, bidders lock in. They don't blink, because they know how few of these exist in untouched condition. And here's what's happening quietly. Supply is shrinking. Every year, more of these coins disappear into private collections. The best examples, they're gone from the open market, locked away by people who understand exactly what they're holding. And while that's happening, everyday people are still spending them like spare change. Right now, a 1940 Washington quarter without a mint mark, in fine condition, can reach around $160,100 at auction. Think about that. A coin that looks worn. A coin people overlook. A coin that could be sitting in your drawer right now, holding life-changing potential. This is not a guess. This is how silent fortune works. It hides in plain sight, waiting for someone to finally notice. So what should you do? Start checking immediately. Look for the year, 1940th, then confirm there's no mint mark. After that, focus on the surface. If you see that yellowish tone mixed with gray-black shading, don't panic. That's a good sign. That's originality. Do not rush to sell. Do not try to clean it. And most importantly, get it professionally graded. Because one small detail, one overlooked feature, could multiply its value beyond what you expect. Patience is where the real money is made in this game. The people who win are not the fastest. They're the ones who pay attention. And if you think this coin is already pushing the limits, the final coin in this video is something else entirely. Because what makes it valuable isn't just what you see. It's what almost nobody even knows exists. This is the coin people regret the most. Not because they never had it, but because they did. And they spent it without even thinking. The 1964 Washington quarter doesn't look rare. It doesn't feel special. That yellowish tone, mixed with gray-black darkness, makes it look old, maybe even dirty. And that's exactly why it slips through hands unnoticed. But what if I told you this is one of the last moments in history where real silver was hiding in plain sight? 1964 wasn't just another year. It was the end of something massive. America was facing a coin shortage, silver prices were rising, and the government made a decision that changed everything forever. After 1964, silver was removed from circulating quarters. That means this coin isn't just old. It's part of the final chapter of real money. And collectors, they don't just see a coin, they see the end of an era. Now focus on the mint mark, D for Denver. That tiny letter on the reverse side, just beneath the eagle, is more powerful than most people realize. Because while millions were made, very few survived in untouched original condition. Especially coins that still carry that natural yellowish and gray-black toning without being cleaned or damaged. Look at the obverse. George Washington's face is still there, calm and steady, but softened by time. Liberty arches above, sometimes faded depending on where, while In God We Trust sits firmly beside the portrait. But here's the part most people miss, the color. That slightly golden yellow tone, mixed with darker gray areas, isn't random. It's silver aging naturally over decades. Its authenticity you can actually see. Turn it over, and the reverse tells a deeper story. The eagle stands strong, wings spread wide, clutching arrows like a symbol of strength before a major transition. United States of America curves above, $quarter below. The details might not be sharp in fine condition, but that's not a weakness. That's proof this coin survived circulation without being destroyed. This coin is made of 90% silver and 10% copper. It weighs around 6.25 grams, with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and a thickness close to 1.75 millimeters. It feels solid, heavy compared to modern quarters. But here's the trap. It still feels like money you can spend. And that's exactly what people keep doing, losing a silent fortune without realizing it. Now think about survival. 1964 coins were heavily circulated because they were the last of their kind. People used them daily. Banks moved them in bulk, and over time, many were melted down for silver value alone. Finding one today in fine condition, with original surfaces and natural toning intact, is far more difficult than it sounds. And here comes the biggest mistake people make. They try to clean it. That yellowish tone, that gray-black shading, people think it's dirt. They try to polish it, shine it, improve it. And in that moment, they destroy everything. Because collectors don't want shiny, want original. That natural toning is proof the coin hasn't been touched. Remove it, and the value drops hard. So hear this clearly, do not clean this coin. Not ever. Keep it exactly as it is. Because that surface is where the real value lives. Now let's talk about demand. Because this is where things get intense. Collectors are emotionally connected to 1964 quarters. Not just because of the silver, but because of what they represent. The end of an era, the last true circulating silver quarter. And when you combine that with a Denver mint mark and original condition, it becomes something people quietly fight over. Auction behavior around this coin is not loud, but it's serious. Bidders watch carefully. They wait for the right example. And when it appears, they move fast. Because they know how rare it is to find one that hasn't been cleaned, scratched, or destroyed over time. And here's what's happening right now. Supply is shrinking. The best coins are disappearing into private collections. The strongest examples are being held, not sold. And while that's happening, millions of people are still spending these coins like they're worth nothing. Right now, a 1964D Washington quarter in fine condition can reach around $130,500 at auction. Let that sink in. A coin people ignore. A coin people spend. A coin that could quietly be sitting in your home right now, holding serious money. This is not hype. This is how hidden wealth survives, quiet, unnoticed, waiting for someone to finally recognize it. So what should you do? Start checking immediately. Look for 1964th, then find that D mint mark on the reverse. After that, study the surface. If you see natural toning, yellowish gray, even dark patches, that's a good sign. That's originality. Do not clean it. Do not rush. And most importantly, get it professionally graded. Because one small detail could take this from ordinary to a life-changing opportunity. Patience is everything here. The people who win are the ones who don't panic. The ones who understand what they're holding. And now you see the full picture. 4 coins. 4 silent fortunes. All hiding in plain sight. And the scariest part? People are still spending them every single day.